Bienvenidos una vez más a su programa Hablemos de Real Estate con Carlos Amaya, donde vamos a relacionar con real estate, familia y finanzas de los Estados Unidos. El programa del día de hoy tenemos un invitado especial de la serie de invitados en inglés. Vamos a hacer el transfer. Si usted lo quiere ver en este momento, tiene una historia fantástica de vida, tiene muchísimo conocimiento y está logrando cosas muy, muy interesantes. Es uno de los colaboradores de Bigger Pockets, entonces para que usted lo vean. Today we have a special guest, someone that I admire a lot, someone that I met through one of the masterminds that I belong. He is going to tell us how he grew so fast in real estate, the things that he's doing. And right now he's moving to Florida, which a lot of us want to do. And then he's going to tell us exactly how he's doing it. He has a great social media presence. At the same time, he has an amazing course for people who want to start investing in real estate. So just in a few seconds, stay with us. We're going to have an amazing guest that I'm sure you're going to have a lot of gains with the conversation today.
En Hablemos de Real Estate con Carlos Amaya creemos que la familia es la base de la sociedad. Por eso, nuestra misión es proveer información y herramientas a la comunidad latina de cómo lograr la libertad financiera a través de bienes raíces.
So today I have the pleasure to be able to have as a guest someone that I admire a lot, someone that I wanted to have in the program for a long time, and someone that is doing great things in terms of like large multifamily investing. Also create great content. He's one of the he also like he's been doing courses as well. So to me, it's a pleasure to have someone that I really admire, Grant Warrington. Grant, how are you, man?
Hey, Carlos, I'm doing great, buddy. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Last time we talked, you told me I was going to have to learn to speak Espanol to get on your show, but you're making an exception, and I appreciate you, buddy.
Yes. That was the whole point. And I have a couple of GoPros. First of all, we met through GoBandas, one of the masterminds that I belong to. And I have a couple of GoPros. Let me see that. I think, are we okay with the sound?
No, baby.
Okay. What happened? Okay, can you hear me well, Grant?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so who's not sounding right? Just 1 second, because I have my wife, which is checking the sound. How about now? This happens when we do live shows. Usually, doesn't everything will work because I can hear really well. So
is your mic, are you using the mic? Is it, are you on the mic? It sounds a little echoey, you know?
Yeah, no. It sounded because she was right next to me and then you can hear it. But now it seems like everything is fine. So, okay, maybe it was her fault.
It's a little echoey, but it's much better.
Okay, that's fine. So everything is fine. Okay, let's do it. So we said that we met through GoBandas, one of the masterminds that we belong to. And then at that point, my goal was to just continue doing my shows in Spanish because that was the purpose of Hablemos de Real Estate. However, I went to Bigger Pockets last year, BPCon 22, and I met some of the guys, and I said, you know, it makes sense for me to be able to do some of the shows in English so we can just bring amazing people like yourself. So I was able to get Brandon Turner, we got Jamie Hoover, we got Jason Driss, we have Matt Faircloth. So all of them came because I told them the Grant is going to be here after them. Yeah. So that's fine. So let us go first.
Yeah, I was going to say you're making me feel inadequate now.
No. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So where are you located right now? I know you mentioned before we start the show that you plan to move. We'll talk about that later. Because a lot of people wants to move, and then I know Jamie moved as well. So where are you located right now in the world?
Well, we're in Detroit. We're in the, I'm in Southeast Michigan. And I've been here my whole life. I've been in this city my whole life. Great city. I love it. I've been in this house since I was 22, 47 now. So for me and my wife, it's just like, we're big on closing chapters, just, and moving on. And for us, it's like, why don't we just go somewhere warm or, warm in the winter and where there's a lot of sunshine? So that's when we decided, you know what, why don't we pick up and move to St. Petersburg, Florida? Like you said, we're in GoBundance. There's a lot of GoBros down there. That's what really made the decision easy. because I'm plugged into a great group here and I want to be plugged into another great group. So I thought, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So we're really excited about this move.
That is amazing. That's amazing. The like you said before, the group in Florida. I mean, all over the country, Cobandas has great chapters. I usually go to the one in Philadelphia. We coming up with the one from New York here. We did our first meeting this week. We have like 12 couples, which is great for the first meeting. Yeah, that's great. And I think it's gonna be great. But at the same time, like if you go to somewhere like Florida, when it's a well established, I mean, they have a crazy events and everything, so it's gonna be amazing. I mean, and especially the weather. I mean, you can get it. And St. Pete is a beautiful place. Yeah, I remember we went that last year, and it's great. It's a great place. So you move it. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, how did you start in real estate? You have an amazing career. You're doing so many great things. So, but let's go back to the beginning. So, someone that's listening to us is, you know what? But they all talk about how great they do right now. But let's go back when the beginning. How did you start it? And then we evolve and we start talking to the conversation until you are right now.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I can jump in the beginning. It was I first started, and I'll just make this a quick one, but I first started in like 2001, 2002. I bought three rental properties. I bought Carlton Sheets. If anybody ever remembers him, I was an infomercial like at 2 a.m. and you'd buy these tapes, low and no money down. And I bought that course, and I didn't probably listen to one tape, and I just thought, that's it, I'm going to buy some real estate. And I didn't have education. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't right personally. I was drinking back then. And I just had a lot going on. And what happened was I entered it thinking like, I'm going to do this good thing. I'm going to allow my tenants, like at Christmas, I'm going to tell them they don't have to pay rent. And I had all these great ideas, right? Well, when you buy some houses and reality hits you fast, my tenants didn't make it to Christmas because they didn't pay me at all, any of them. Each one of them ended up owing me $5,000. This dragged on for years. Long story short, I gave the houses back. I declared bankruptcy, and bankruptcy was finalized finally in 2007. So, I mean, I really got my butt kicked. But I blame no one. I learned a lot of good lessons in that. I knew I would be back, and I knew it was something I wanted to do because I hated having a boss. And that's what really started this. And I can feel it right now, like talking to you about this, like that desire not to have a boss burned so hard that I was like, I'll do whatever it takes. Unfortunately, I tried, I failed. But in 2011, with the help of God, I quit drinking. I got through that, and I met my wife in 2014. And she told me that she always had a dream of owning real estate. And it was like, oh, really? And that's what sparked it again. And that's what got us together. And in 2014, I believe it was November or October, I started listening to Bigger Pockets, and I started just consuming all of those podcasts. And that was October 2014. December 2014, we closed on our first single family home. So, no mentor, no anything. It just, I use Bigger Pockets as my mentor. And that's what I like to tell people. There's so much free content out there. You just need to get started. And that's what we did. We got started, and then we ran out of money. We got stuck. I was a construction worker, not an engineer. I'm not fantastic with numbers. I didn't have a lot of money at all. And we really built this portfolio with very, very little income. And I can't stress that enough. And our income went like this as we built it. And because we wanted to get closer to full-time in real estate, and we just had to hack our expenses the whole way and just follow our dreams. So it was not easy for us. So
it's amazing that usually people always, when you ask them the story, they try to omit the hard parts, but you went straight to it. So, okay, so you invest, you start buying properties. 2007 hits, then you realized it wasn't the right way to do it. God gave us so many opportunities. Like, I don't know if I mentioned my story. I have like I cancer in 2012, like 12 brain surgeries from 2015 to 2017. And the same thing, God gave me so many opportunities. That's the reason that we have this show. And we even, we didn't pray today. Usually when my wife says she usually prays, which we pray to. So God gave us the opportunity to do it again. And when that happened, you met your wife, and your wife said, I want to do real estate. And you said, okay, let's now, I'm in different stage of my life.
Yeah.
You were a full-time employee, correct? And then let's talk about your first property. How much you pay for it? How you bought it? What were the numbers? Like just a ballpark. And then when you run out of money, what did you do to continue in real estate?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, our first property was right here in my backyard, and just about all of our stuff is. And we bought this single family home for $65,000 back in 2014, right in my neighborhood. We just sold it for $170,000 last year, but we bought it for 65. I had 20,000. She had 20,000. We put all our money together. We rehabbed it, and we ran out of money quick. So that was the problem. We didn't know what to do. We knew we wanted to buy more, but we had this house. We had it rehabbed, and we put a tenant in place and didn't know what to do next. And here's just a side note. The funny thing is and I'll get into this more, but when you stand in that driveway of that first single family home that we bought, and you look over into the backyard, over the fence, you can see the roof of the first apartment building that we bought. So that just reminded me of that. It's just kind of surreal how all these things work out. But we ran out of money, didn't know what to do. So what I did, I went to a local RIA meeting, and I found a guy there, a young guy that all these people were crowded around and wanted to talk to. And I told him my problem. I said, hey man, we ran out of money. We don't know what to do. And he said, okay, well, here's what you need to do. You need to buy 3 properties. You need to get them free and clear, no mortgages on them. And you need to refinance those 3 properties, fix them up. You need to put tenants in place, and then refinance them into a blanket loan, a giant burr, but into a blanket loan, all 3 of the properties. So, we had to make a decision. I had gone through that bankruptcy. I didn't want to get into debt again. And, my wife's like, if not that, then what? I mean, this is good debt. And I said, you know what? You're right. Let's do it. So I sold my boat, my truck, my pool table to put a down payment down. That was on another property. We've taken out credit cards. We bought houses with credit cards. I've taken a personal loan. My wife's taken a personal loan. I sold some real estate. I sold some retirement stocks. What else have I done? I sold all of my stocks, not just the retirement stuff. So, I mean, we've done some crazy stuff to move forward quickly in real estate. And, that's been the differentiator. We got to 11 units very quickly in 2 years with no money, just by doing these things, taking on this debt, refinancing those 3 properties into a blanket loan. We'd get a big check back to us, and we'd pay off some of that crazy debt. And then we'd take that check and we'd go buy 3 more houses. And that's how we did it. But I mean, it's like anything. You got to take calculated and educated risks to move forward, and to move forward quickly. And we said, you know what? It's more, moving forward quickly is more important than just being comfortable. And if we weren't on Facebook Live, I'd tell you how I really feel, F feeling comfortable. I mean, you know what I mean? I wanted to grow, and I needed to, is because that desire, that why of having the boss, it needed to stop. And I'm tingling again, just thinking about it. And it energizes me. And I haven't had a boss in years, but that was my, and if your why is big enough, you'll find a way.
Yeah, that is amazing. The fact that you say so many great things. One, the information is there. Obviously, we're gonna get into like having a mentor, having a coach, having a course that's gonna reduce the learning curve, and it's gonna prevent you to make so many mistakes. But you just getting the free information, such as this, learn from someone like you that you already went through it, and you took action. And then when you got stuck, you went to the RIA, and then you found someone that knew more than that you knew at that time, and then you apply the strategy. So it seems everything was working fine. So you have 11 properties, 11 units. And at that point, what did you decide to do? So what did you say, okay, that's fine. At one point, you say, okay, my goal was, the why was to leave my W-2. How many properties do I need to buy in order to do that? And what was the realization that you have at that point?
Yeah, that was kind of a game changer there, because my wife said to me, she's like, do you realize, we had 11 units. She said, do you realize we're going to have to buy 50 single family homes that cash flow $200 a month to be able to cash flow $10,000 to us a month? And I said, we have to buy 50 homes. And she said, yeah. And I was like, I can't do that. I just did 11. I have a full-time job. Like it was just a crazy thought. So we said, you know what, we got to get out of this. We got to get into small apartment buildings. My mentor had bought some at that point, so we knew that was the direction we wanted to go. The other thing that happened was we had a major repair, and it was like $4,000, and that wiped our cash flow out for 2 years. And we thought, okay, there's got to be a better way than this. The cash flow on that home was gone for 2 years, and it sucked. So, that's when we made the decision. We're only buying small apartments going forward. And that's what we did. We dove right in and got to work educating ourselves on that space.
So that's great, because the goal for a lot of us is just become financially free, invest in real estate. That was my goal, and we were able to accomplish, thank God. But it depends where you live. So the numbers add up. You need 50 units. So, and then you realize you're going to have 50 tenants, and then you're going to have, like, if they're single family houses, you're going to have 50 roofs. So everything is exponential. So at that time, the phrase was born, I guess, the invest in single family sucks. So how did you do the transition? A lot of people say, you know what, it's super hard. I want to stay in my comfort zone, do what I need to do. What was the next purchase after those 11 units? Would you want to, like, how many units? And how was the transition? Was it easier? Was it harder than you expected? And where are you right now?
So right now we're at 41 units. And the great thing about that, like I said, we would have had to buy 50 properties, 50 single family locations, right? We own 4 properties now, 41 units. And I love that fact. So what we did after the 11 units, it's right about the time I quit my job, my career job in construction. And I can touch on that next, but sure. We said, you know what, we're just going to do apartments. So here's what happened. And this is what I tell people in my course. I'm like, you need to tell everybody you meet, and you've heard that, but it's the truth. Tell everybody what you're looking to do. So I was telling everybody, waitresses, when we went out to eat. But what happened was, we bought a house for $20,000. It needed $40,000 worth of work back then. It was in not the best location. It was a small little house. And the city inspector was over. He was giving me the certificate of occupancy, and we were in the basement. And I said to him, hey, I'm looking to buy small apartment buildings. Do you know anyone? And he said, yeah, there's this woman that lives in Trenton, and she owns Trenton, Michigan, and she owns about 60 units at that time. And I said, I live in Trenton. So what I did was I called her, and I told her the same thing. I'm looking to buy small apartments. And she said, here's 4 people I know that do a shitty job running their properties, and they might be looking to sell. And I said, okay. And I reached out to all 4 of those people. One of them I happen to kind of know. And he owned a liquor store, and I went into his liquor store, and I said, hey, I heard you own that apartment, and I'm interested in buying it. And he said, okay, I think I would sell it. And it was like, holy shit. And that's how we came to our first deal off market. We bought it on a land contract in Michigan, but seller financing. And we worked out the terms together, and it was amazing. It took a year to close that because there were so many problems with that.
How many units was that?
That was 20 units.
20 units.
Okay. Our first building. Yeah.
First building. It's great because right now, like in every market, people always complain. Okay, there are not enough inventory, or everything that it is in the MLS, or if it's commercial and the database is so expensive and it's so competitive.
Yeah.
But I remember when I started doing real estate in 2004, one of the first brokers that I have told me the same thing. So many secret agents. Nobody knows that they're agents. Okay, so how can they gonna get deals if they don't know they're agents? The same thing happened here. So how do people will know that what we're looking for if we don't tell them? So you told everybody, and you were able to get that 20 units. And you realize, okay, this makes a lot of sense. You could do sellers financing. You negotiate the terms, and then after that, okay, after we go to the next property, you said that you left your job. A lot of people wants to do that, and it's hard for them to accomplish it. So how was it? How many years you were working there, and how was the transition? Because stepping a W-2 and becoming an entrepreneur sounds super nice. But I don't know you. We're gonna tell my story later. It's hard. It's a lot harder than I expected. So how did it go with you?
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. I want to just say one thing too about, there's never a good time to buy real estate, right? I remember, just like you said, I remember in 2016, I was buying a house for $65,000, and a guy said, I used to buy those houses for $20,000 in 2011. I'm going to wait until the next crash. And I think about that now. And in 2016, people were telling me you're paying too much. It's overpriced. So don't ever think if you're a real estate investor, you're going to get to a point in your career or that people are going to say, now's the right time to buy. You're buying at a great discount, right? I mean, it just doesn't happen. In 2008, when that happened, those people had balls to buy then because everyone else was saying, do not buy real estate. So it's never going to be a perfect situation.
Really quick. I love that you said that because I went through the crash in 2008, 2009. And I do remember, like right now we look at the numbers like, man, I wish I was there 2010, 2011. But at the same time, people were saying like, okay, you know what? The market's crazy. We don't know if it's going to keep going down. The banks are not lending. So it's not a good moment. So that's true. Like, it will not be a good time to start. It will not be a good time to buy. If you wait, so the best time is now. So you just invest. Obviously, you have to do all the numbers and everything, preparation. That's what we're here for. So just to provide the information and you make an educated decision. So that's great. That's great that you mentioned it because a lot of people are like, I'm going to wait for the crash. And I know people that be waiting for like 20 years and they're still there.
Yeah, correct. So let me get to my job then. So we had, I think it was 2017. Here's what happened. We had 11 units. 11 units we did not make money on because we poured all our money back into buying apartments. Everything we bought needed to be rehabbed. So all the cash flow that those produced went back into the business. So we didn't take any money. So in 2017, my boss, they wanted me to do something that I didn't really agree with morally. I didn't agree with how it was working out. And how we were going about this. And I told them no. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I was told not to do it and by a police officer. And I'm not going to do it. Now, I don't need to get into all of it, but so my boss said, I'll tell you what then, go meet me at Starbucks. And I thought, oh shit, I'm going to get fired because he was pissed. My immediate boss. Okay. And so I'm thinking, well, and I was a construction worker, but at that point I was a business agent for my union. One of the top jobs, you can get, one of the position you'd like to be in if you're in a union. And so I thought, well, here it is. I'm a third generation crane operator, and I'm going to have to go to my dad and tell my dad I got fired. And I was pretty bummed out, didn't know what to do. And as I'm sitting there waiting, my mentor, the friend of mine who's been giving me advice through the years, I get this text from him. Now we don't talk that often. I would just reach out to him when I had a problem, when I was taking action and I needed some advice. That's when I would reach out to him. And all of a sudden I get this text from him as I'm sitting there and I look and it's a picture of a check and it says my biggest check yet. And it was a check for $636,000. He did a refinance. And he, out of the blue, I saw that in my darkest moment. And I said, dude, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. Like something snapped inside me. And I was like, I am in the wrong place and I need to get out of here. So I thought, you know what? bring on the boss. Whatever he tells me, I don't care. I'll do anything and everything, but I'm gone. And so, like I said, something broke inside me. And I was like, this job, I'm done with this job. I just didn't know how, but it didn't matter. It was over. And long story short, 2 months later, I'm working for for my mentor, and I ended up managing over 800 units. He owned a property management company. And, now I've done over 100 plus rehabs, managed over 800 units. So by the time that 20 unit came up, we knew exactly what to do. But I did take a pay cut to take that property management job. I had 2 pensions. I gave that up. I had a truck. I gave that up. Cell phone, healthcare. I gave all that up and quit that W-2 to take this property management job for a pay cut, because I knew I wanted to get closer to being full-time in real estate. So that was the first W-2 I quit.
That's amazing. What year was that?
It was 2018, January 2018, I believe, is when I actually told them I quit and took the next job.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever watched the Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio. That scene, what you just described, that scene when I don't know the name of the actor, we was looking at the checks. This is how much you make. Yes, okay. So what you were telling me, I was just imagining right the movie. Okay, so sometimes you wanna have it all. You want to have a great benefits, you want to have a great pay, but at the same time, you want to become financially free and you don't want to give it up. So you have to get out of your comfort zone. I did something similar. I decided to leave in 2019. The great position to do what we're doing right now, and I will never regret it. Although the change initially was kind of hard, the adjustment from W-2 to become an entrepreneur. In your case, when did you leave the management company, or are you still there?
No, I left that in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so the following year.
How was the transition from W-2 to straight on your own? How was it in your case?
Well, for us, it was kind of scary. So our expenses, we had to cut our expenses down to like $50,000 a year, and that's healthcare, that's our vehicles, that's our phone, that's our food, that's our mortgage. That's anything and everything was 50 grand. So we really, really cut everything we could. And then that property management gig, my wife was the one that said, she's like, this is killing you. You got to quit. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? She's like, you're a realtor. You've had your license for years. You're going to be a full-time realtor. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, you're quitting in 7 months or whatever it was. And I'm like, shit. How many guys' wives tell them, hey, you're going to take a pay cut from what you're getting now, and we're going to go all the way down to zero, and we're going to figure it out. And that was my wife. She's 50-50 partners in all of our stuff. She handles everything. So it's like, it was amazing for her to say that. And we did that every month. She's like, okay, 5 months left, 4 months left, 2 months left. And we quit. I became a realtor, and now I went to zero income. And I did it. I was a realtor for a couple of years, but that was it. I mean, it was tough, but I had to supplement our income because we weren't making a ton of money. We were still rehabbing out of cash flow. So we didn't have a lot of money still at that point. So it was really difficult. But January 2022, so a year ago now, is when I quit being a realtor because I didn't need to do it anymore. We're financially free now today. January 2022 is when that happened. And I said, I'm done with that. So that was interesting. But, the other thing I learned too is everyone preaches financial freedom, right? But the thing they don't tell you is if you want to live a big life, you want to live a big life, right? You want to fly private. You want to own a house on the beach. You want to drive, brand new Mercedes for you and your wife. You are not going to get there by living off of your income from 41 units. Yep. That is not the case. So I want people to realize that. And also, and I tell people in my course this, like, listen, your job might suck, but use that to supercharge your investing. Cut your expenses, take as much of that W-2 as you can, and just dump all that money back into investing in real estate. So you don't have to go through what we did to grow your portfolio. But you really need to realize that, $10,000 a month, you're not going to live a really big life. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine. but you got to keep that in mind.
That's amazing. We have a similar conversation with my wife. Everything that we do is 50-50.
Yeah.
We didn't have she didn't put me a date, but we have like an event. So I said, okay, we're gonna be buying this amount of properties, and if we reach this number, you're out. And I was, but it was killing me as well. I was working 7 days a week and everything else, and that happens, and that's the reason why. So 2019, that's what I met you. 2021 January last year, that's when I met you.
Yeah.
At the conference. So finally, you are not longer a real estate agent, so now you're full time. So, what has been your life since January up to now? How many units do you have right now? How were you able to scale? When did you get into creating your own course? And all of that.
Yeah, and let me just touch you back on that. Just go back just 1 minute, because it's funny. Life puts you in these situations, and it's up to you to really make them positive. So I was a realtor, and what happened, we had 20 units. We just 16 months after we bought the 20 units, we refinanced that building. We got a check for $300,000 tax-free because it's a refinance. So that got all of our money out of the building. And now we had a lump of money to go buy the next building. So I was a realtor. I was, I had a client at that point, and she said, "You know what, Grant, we can't find anything. I just want to buy the rental house I'm living in. Could you talk to my landlord?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll just step out of the way and let you guys, buy it. No big deal." And she goes, "Oh, by the way, he owns apartment buildings." And I went, "Oh shit. Okay. I got 300 grand in the bank." You know what I mean? I'm like, "All right, yeah, let me," cause she knew I was looking for an apartment building, cause I told her. I went back to basics and told everyone I knew. So that's why she said he owns apartment buildings. Talked to him. We walked his building on Saturday. He was interested in selling an 11 unit. And Monday, I had a purchase and sale agreement for him. And long story short, we closed that. And that was our 11 unit building. So, good thing that I was in that realtor position, because that's how we found our second building. Now we realized we don't want these single families anymore. We had realized that, but we still own some. So 2 years ago, we started selling them all off, and we put 3 of them into a 1031 exchange. So if people are familiar with that, you have 45 days to identify your next property. Okay. If you don't identify within 45 days, if you identify a property and you don't close on it, then they'll hold your money for 6 months, and then you get your money back. And if you do not buy anything or identify in the 45 days, you're on the hook for the capital gains for those 3 houses. It was like $70,000 we would have had to pay. So we had 45 days to identify the property we're going to purchase. Day 43, I had contacted like 40 owners off market, all off market, because that's how I did the majority of everything, was off market. So everyone in my area, I contacted all these owners. And on day 43, I had nothing going, and I was scared to death. And my wife and I had a conversation. If we got to pay 70 grand, we got to pay 70 grand. It's just, it's the way it is, right? It's part of being an investor. So we got comfortable with that, but still I'll be honest, I'm feeling like I let us down because I couldn't find anything. Day 43, an 8-unit apartment building, hit the MLS. I had that damn thing locked up in 4 hours, sight unseen, had the purchase and sale agreement. I was a realtor. I gave my commission back, my $18,000 commission on that. I gave it back to the owner because I needed this thing locked up, and they were dragging their feet. And I said, "Look, here, I'll make this thing a slam dunk." So it was incredible. That was that brought us up to 41 units, and that's where we're at today. So that was just a little gut wrenching experience there.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And those are around your area, but at the same time, you have an investment in Alabama, correct?
Yeah, we do too. Yeah, we syndicated a deal last summer, 98 units in Pell City, Alabama. We did that. I was on the general partnership side. I played a small role in that. Still ongoing. I'm on the asset management team. And we brought some investors on for that. So that was 98 units. And the 41, though, is my wife and I personally own with no investors, and we self-manage that. The 98 we have investors with. So 139 total.
Amazing. Great story. when did you have the desire to share your information, your knowledge, your experience, come out with the course,
Yeah.
and do this? I mean, you're great in social media. You're really active. You record great videos. What kind of team did you build, and how is it going with you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is, yeah, I love talking this. So what happened was we bought that 20 unit, and there's a lot of great free content out there. And I realize that, but like, there's not a lot of stuff that really is going to help me. I like to explain it this way. I'm the guy inside the apartment building showing you what I did, what I spent, and here's what I do, right? I'm not the guy on the sidewalk outside of the building pointing at it, telling you I own it and blah, blah, blah. I'm the guy in there, hands on. I'm in the building. And there wasn't a lot of that. There was no real social media and people telling me, look, here's the LVP we use. Here's the flooring. What's better, click plank or glue down? What kind of paint should we use on the walls? Like what kind of door locks should we use? There was nothing like that out there. And that was what was really frustrating to me. And that's why I started putting these videos together. Cause I'm like, I know if I can't find this kind of information, I had to research all this shit for like 4 months before we bought the building and try and find out what are we going to put in? Because the thing is, you want to do everything exactly the same. So whatever we picked, that was going to be our product forever on every building we bought. So I put a lot of time into it, but there really was no one explaining these things. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to explain it as we figure it out. Here's what we did. And that's what I tell people, like, hey, here's the flooring we use. Here's the difference between LVP and click plank. Here's the wall color. So basically you can go in, you can see our product in my videos and you can say, yeah, I like that. I'll just copy that. I give you the item numbers. I give you how much it costs. And I like to go over that. People, here's the true here's the true number on a rehab. Rehab is like 10 grand. When we first bought our apartment, people were there saying, yeah, you can do a rehab for $4,000. And they were talking about replacing cabinets. And I'm like, that's insane that they're telling people that. That's ridiculous. That number is way too low. And the reason I know is because we were spending it. And
Yep.
So I thought, you know what? I need to just put content out there that's true. Like not all of it's awesome. Like we went through some hard times, buying these buildings and some things, some repairs we had to make. So I thought, you know what? These videos are based off blood and cash, blood we've shed and cash we've had to spend, learning these lessons. So I thought I'll just share it with the internet. And, in the beginning, not a lot of people were watching because obviously, right, I was new to doing it. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make these videos for me because I kind of enjoy it. And maybe somebody out there will need these. And then they just caught on and people really started. And they actually caught on when I got more, I started posting every single day. That's when it really started to take off. My Instagram took off. And today I have a video editor. And I shoot the videos. I send the videos to him and he puts the words on them and all of that. And I just today actually hired a social media manager and she's going to be in charge of the video editor. She's going to create other posts. She's going to post on my behalf, create some copy, do some different things so that I can focus more on creating videos. And then I just hired an ad team, AJ Anderson. He's a GoBro in Tennessee. I just hired his ad team and I just had a meeting with them and they're going to do Facebook ads, Google ads, all kinds of different things for me really to get this course out because that was the next thing. And I can get into that. I paid $5,000 last summer to golf with Ryan Pineda, if you're familiar with him. And I reached out to him and I'm like, hey man, I'd like to pay for an hour of your time for a phone call. And he's like, it's $5,000 and you can golf with me. And I'm like, oh shit. So he called me out and I'm like, well, I got to do it. So I had to fly to Vegas. I golfed with, ended up costing me probably around 8,000. Didn't have the money, but I'm like, I'll put on a credit card. I'll figure it out. And I did that. And Ryan asked me, hey, if people watch every single one of your 30-second reels, can they buy apartments and do what you do? And I said, well, probably not. He said, okay, if people watch every single one of your 30-second reels, is it going to change their life? And I said, probably not. There's just not enough information there. He said, then dude, I had been talking about a course. He goes, dude, you need to build that course. You owe it to people to build that course and to change their life. He said his content, that's what his stuff has done. It's changed people's lives. And I owe it to people to do the same. And I said, you know what? Okay, I'll do it. And that's how I've been throughout my whole career. Someone told me, you need to buy houses free and clear and put them in a blanket loan. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And Pineda said, you need to create a course and share it with people to help change their lives. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And that's how the apartment buying blueprint course was created. And it took me 4 months and a lot of struggle to get this thing, but it's something I'm really proud of. And it shows exactly what I did to find and purchase apartment buildings, small apartment buildings. And that's what I love. That's what I love to share. And because I tell people, like, if I can get you down in what I do, I mean, there's a guarantee with the course too. I'll teach you how to buy your first small apartment building within the next 60 days. And if you follow the course and do what it says and you do the work, you can completely do that.
That's amazing. That when you mentioned, like, okay, they had the money, I just figured it out. For so many people, that would be the struggle. I can't go there. And then we're talking about your course and everything. You're talking to me directly. I was like, because I've been meaning to build a course and everything else. And you said something really good. We owe it to the people. We owe because we want to impact people's life.
Yeah.
And then we have this knowledge and experience that, like you said, a lot of blood and money that we spend to be able to do the project that we do. In terms of the team, are they local? Are they overseas?
They are in the Philippines. So they're both in the Philippines. Yep. They're VAs. I hired both of them. My video editor, he works 40 hours, and my social media manager, she's going to start 10 to 15 hours a week.
How much you pay the video editor?
Video editor, I pay him $7 an hour. And then the social media, I'm going to pay her $6.50 an hour until after 3 months. Then we're going to step her up probably to maybe $8 an hour or something like that. She's going to head the whole department. So I'm excited about that. And my goal is to pay them more. That's a great number. If people don't have VAs and aren't familiar with the Philippines, they don't understand that that's a pretty good per hour in the Philippines. Yeah. But my goal is to, I want, my VAs to make a lot of money, and I want them to be able to grow and hit their dreams along with me. So that's what I'm excited about too, helping them achieve their goals.
Yeah, that's great. I read I'm sure you do too, the 4-hour work week, and he mentioned all those VAs. That's amazing. That's what technology gives us the opportunity right now, and the globalization of communication. You can do things like that. That's great. And thanks for sharing, and thanks for motivating again that how to get the course done. In terms of like moving, okay, so you're doing all those things, all the great things. You have the properties right next to you. If something happens, you go there and you take care of them. Yeah. How is that? So you plan to move to Florida. So how do you plan to handle that when you are in Florida?
So what we're going to do is that was the problem, right? And that was the thing we've had to work out for the last couple of months. My wife handles the management, so she's been looking to hire someone. The problem is, if we put property management in place, 41 units, you don't make an incredible amount of money. So property management would take $30,000 to $40,000 a year. And it's like, man, we are right back to not being financially free more than likely then if we do that. So it's like, that's not an option. We can't do that. And we have all contractors because we manage ourselves. So we have everyone in place. We just needed a boots on the ground person to work maybe 10 hours a week, maybe not. We don't have a lot that goes wrong because we rehab everything. I mean, we do electrical outlets, switches, light fixtures, everything. Anything a tenant could touch, we replace. So my wife did find that person. We were very excited about that. And she lives local. And the funny thing is, she was actually that person I talked about that bought the house and took me to the 11 unit. That's her. She's the one that's actually going to work for us. So She's got property management experience. I worked with her at the property management company that I was at. So it's really, we're really excited about this, and it should be a really good fit.
And I'm sure it will be. And St. Pete, I mean, Florida
Yeah.
overall, it's a great state. It's a great state to do business. But St. Pete is beautiful. I mean, it's like a dream place to live. So congratulations. I'll be visiting if you
I hope you do. It's on camera now. Now you're
I was,
obligated.
I was hoping for you to say yes, because it's in Canada.
Yes.
Next time I just edit it. I'm here with my whole family. So that's great.
Us too. You could stay with us too. We're getting a 2-bedroom so people can come down and hang out and spend time with us. So
yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be great. Let's talk about Mastermind. So you are part of Abundance. You really active there. You also, and I know before that, how do you get into bigger pockets? Because I know I've been seeing some of your videos there, and that's amazing. So how do you get to bigger pockets and the Mastermind, the power of the Mastermind?
Yeah, so Bigger Pockets. That's why I met with Ryan Pineda too, because Bigger Pockets. I'm a contributor now, and they were picking up my stuff and they're posting it, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this social media? So that's why I wanted to pick his brain.
Yeah.
But
and how do you get in contact with him? You just call him up?
I DM'd him on Instagram and said, "Hey, I'd like to pay you for an hour of your time." And he said, "Yeah, it's $5,000. I'll give you 5 hours." And I was like, "Oh shit." So he called me out, dude. So
it's cheaper than Cardone. I'm kidding.
It is. And looking back, it was a steal, because it was, I heard what I needed to hear from who I needed to hear and when I needed to hear it. So for me, that $5,000 was well spent.
And you play golf. And you play golf.
No, I don't. I'm horrible at golf, but
but you get the picture at least.
Yeah, I took lessons to try and get better at it, but it was all right. He didn't care. And it was just a great experience. But with Bigger Pockets, I started posting into their Facebook groups my content. And as long as it's not, it doesn't have any logos or anything like that, they don't mind. I mean, it's pretty good content.
No solicitation, pretty much.
Yeah, no solicitation. Thank you. So I started posting every single day. And at first, I think some of the moderators who aren't the high ups or just moderators on the page, there's one in particular, I think, that didn't care for that for whatever reason. But then I started talking to some of the higher ups on the page, and they were awesome. And they encouraged me to keep posting. And then all of a sudden, Instagram, Felipe, he runs their social media. He does a hell of a job for them, all their social media for Bigger Pockets. He's amazing. He reached out. We had a Zoom call, and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to start, I'd like to collaborate together. I'd like to work together." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'd love that." Listen, I started watching Bigger Pockets. That's how I started. So like, when you sit down and look at this and go full circle, like, holy shit. I remember sitting out there. I'm at my house, like sitting out there at the kitchen table, watching these podcasts going, does this shit really work? In the beginning. And now here I am talking to the, to the guy in charge, one of the guys in charge of the social media, Bigger Pockets. And it's just like, this is just insane. So that's how I got started. Just consistency over time. It's with anything. It's the same thing with social media. People ask me, well, should I do this or should I do that? Or should I? And I'm like, listen, social media is just like a house. Everybody wants to ask, should I get a lease first? Should I get an LLC first? Should I do that? No, buy a house. Like, buy a house and you'll figure all that shit out, right? And it's the same thing with social media. Post every day. It doesn't matter what it is, how good it is, but post a video of you, 30 seconds, a reel every day. There you go. You'll get better and better and better at it. So there's no secret sauce. You just got to do the work. And it's the same thing no matter what you do. You just need, it's consistency over time equals success.
Yeah, I love that. The secret sauce is do the work.
Yeah.
I had one of my guests was Gonzalo Corso, Diego Corso's brother.
Okay.
And he's a GoPro too. He does like 300 wholesale deals. Oh, well, he did it the year prior. Now things have slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was asking him about the secret sauce, and he said there is no secret sauce. This is what I do, and he told the name of the softwares and the everything. This is what, and then you have to make like, I don't know, chill a lot of calls, like hundreds of calls, and then you get the results. So there is no secret sauce. You do the work, pretty much.
And that's the thing, and that's why he can share that with people and not have to worry about people stealing his ideas or anything like that. Because I hate to say it, but 99% of the people won't do it.
You know what? That happened with the podcast too. You have no idea how many people just reach out to me that I want to do a podcast, and they even have the similar name that I have in Spanish, and they do like 1-2 episodes. And in the beginning, I was so upset. I was telling my wife, I mean, they are just doing the same thing. They even say the same phrase. But then she said, "Don't worry about it. They're gonna get burned," and that's true. After a couple of episodes, they're gone. So that people don't do the work. They think it's so super easy because it looks easy from outside, but then when you do it, people get burned.
Yeah, and I think, I hate to say it, but I think a lot of those people are looking for the mentor. That's a person that always says, "Well, I need a mentor. I need a mentor." Well, you're looking for a mentor because all that free content is telling you need to do the work, and here's what you need to do. You're looking for someone else that might say, "No, you don't need to do that shit. Here's the secret." And you don't need to work that hard, and you're not going to find that. So people reach out to me all the time about that, about being a mentor. And I'm like, listen, man, you just got to do the work. Here's the thing: take action, buy something, get stuck, and then you will find a mentor. But put yourself in positions to find mentors. Go to networking events, join Bigger Pockets, right? Go to their stuff. Whatever you can do to get around other people, local RIA events, and you'll find people that'll help you.
That's amazing advice. Let's talk a little bit. We're almost at the end of the show. The power of Mastermind. How much has affected your life being part of GoBundance? And you're laughing already. And how has it been for you?
It's been incredible. It's changed my life. I mean, in my I'm an ambassador for GoBundance too. So new members come through me before they join, or if people know people they want to refer to me. So I get to talk to so many people. I love it. But it's changed my life. I'm financially free because of a post someone put in the GoBundance page. And I just happened to do it. It was about a loan. I took the loan out. I didn't have to rehab out of cash flow anymore. There's a long story behind it, but that is the reason that it was like we got a construction loan. And now we can rehab out of the construction loan. That's basically just about what happened. So, I mean, to say it changed my life is an understatement. It's incredible what's happened. We went from like $3,000 a month cash flow when I joined GoBundance, from our apartments, and putting GoBundance on a credit card because I didn't have the money, to now we're at like $10,000 a month cash flow. It's just completely changed my life. The people I've met personally, just me as a human being, I think that's the most important thing too. And a lot of people that watch shows or want financial literacy about apartment buildings and things like that, they miss the fact too that you need to be a good human being and be a better human being. And that's one of the most important parts to me. And GoBundance has changed my life in that way. I just get around people that are quality people and that care about me. And I love that fact. And my wife tells me all the time, she's like, listen, if you ever want me to get on a phone call and tell people, like, to their wives, like, how different you are, believe me, I'll do that. Because listen, I was an asshole a couple years ago. Now I'm a slightly less asshole, but I'm proud of that fact that I can see some flaws and see areas that I need to improve on. And that's all because of GoBundance.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have similar experience in terms of GoBundance, and like a lot of people want to make the investment of the money, like you say, I put in the credit card all the time, because then you have to play full end. You just go to the events and just but a lot of people might think that just going to a group like that just because of the money, and obviously the money comes, but it's more than that. It's just great human beings, and the advice that we get in GoBundance through like our personal lives and our health. So it is amazing. And just people doing amazing things inspire you to do them. So that's great. So that's what I wanted to ask. I kind of knew the answer. I wanted you to say it. So that's great. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I really appreciate having you here. We'd like to know you a little more as a person.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies when you are not doing all those amazing videos? And if you don't follow him, you have to follow him. These are great videos. When you are not rehabbing property, when you are not doing all the great things that you do, doing the courses now, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do when you have free time?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any. I probably need to work on that. Spend time with my wife. You know, we're always together. We work together, and then she's not on the social media side, but we spend a lot of time together. We vacation, you know, obviously together, and I would think might be a hobby, but yeah, I don't fish. I don't do any of those other things, so I probably need to work on that. But I love social media. I love talking to you. I love these kind of things. So I don't know. I don't feel like I'm lacking in any way.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have the same hobby. Spending time with my wife is the best thing.
Yeah.
And now that you move to Florida, definitely we want to make the trip. And I'm sure they will, because when you were mentioned her, it's like you're talking about my wife, Juliana. So it's the same thing. The way she is, the support and everything. And then she also said that me going to Gobanda was an amazing thing. So and I found not just what we take, but what we can give out to others and make us better human beings. Recommend us a book and a movie or a series. So a book, movie, or a series.
A book, hands down, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Love that book too.
By Dale Carnegie. Yeah, that book will change your life as well. But if you can't get along with people and if you can't listen to people, then you know you're not going to go very far no matter what you do. And it's an awesome book. It reads really well. It's got great stories in there. And again, I'm always big on relationships. You know, I'm not going to recommend a financial book. Like, I think that's the important piece, and you're going to go much farther with those kind of social skills, I believe.
Definitely. Now, a movie or a series?
A movie or a series? Man, I can't think of that. We just watched, what did we watch? Yellowstone. So that was a series on Netflix or whatever it is we watched, but I can't think of anything other than that.
I'll recommend one that we're watching. I don't watch that much TV. I don't even watch like soccer games because I don't have a lot of time. But
yeah,
we've been watching something called Physical Activity. It's on Netflix. It's a Korean show.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Just watch it. That's unbelievable right now. That episode 6 or 7, I think it is. But when you watch it, you'll love it. And then it's more than just physical activity, just the way they behave and everything. So it's a great show.
Okay, so you make me look bad. You recommend this nice, good, wholesome thing, and I'm talking about some stupid. Okay. Moving on.
No. Always when you said it, I was like, I haven't recommended that. We haven't mentioned it, but I don't want to make you look. I mean, I cannot make you look bad. You're too good.
Oh, geez.
So what is your differentiator? How come you're able to accomplish everything you're doing right now and whatever God has you and your path, and others might not? So what is that you have, and how do you apply it?
How am I able to accomplish these things?
Yeah, what are your differentiator? Like, some people say, "Oh, I'm a really hard worker." Other people say, I'm just lucky. Or ones, I'm super smart. Whatever. I mean, whatever they think they are, they're it. What is your it?
I think a couple things. You know, I don't have all those things. Yeah. Am I really hard worker and I'm really all these things? No, I'm probably pretty average. I hate to say it. I mean, I don't think anyone's average, but, you know, I'm not an engineer. I'm not fantastic with numbers. Like I said, I was a construction worker, but the one thing that drives me, that really makes me do these things is, a fear of being mediocre. I don't want to be mediocre in my life. I don't want to look back and say, wow, I lived a nice average life where, you know, if I died tomorrow, people would be sad for a few days. And it's like, well, what did I really contribute to this world? And mediocrity is probably the one thing that really scares me. And really that's my why now that drives me. But also I think, you know, one thing I'm good at, I found, is social media. I like that aspect. I like creating. And I think I'm another thing. I think I'm pretty relatable to people. I'm not that far ahead of people. 41 units might sound a lot to someone that has 0, but really we're not that far apart. I've just solved a few more problems than you have yet. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. What can we find you? Social media. I know you're really active there.
Yeah.
And you're doing a great job in terms of like I've been learning so much. Even though I don't do construction, I'm more like like raising capital and different side of the large multifamily complexes. And also we have a small portfolio, but have like my handymans that do the work. But with you watching you, it's like amazing. I was like, man, I learned so much. So where can we find you?
On Instagram at Grant Warrington. That's it. And I'm on all platforms at Grant Warrington. But Instagram's the main one that I really focus on.
Perfect. Grant, it was a pleasure. Don't go. So we can just say the goodbyes and and God bless you. And then it was a pleasure to have you here. But don't go.
Thanks for having me too, Carlos. This was awesome, man. I'm so glad we did it.
We have to do it again. I have so many things I want to talk to you, but it's already an hour, and but maybe we'll have it for a second time if you are open, obviously.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, and for all of you, thank you for being here. We're doing a special series of English-speaking guests, and if you like this show, we advise you, or we want you to connect with our channel. Just sign up, and we have different more guests coming up in the future. And if you want to learn Spanish, you have a lot of content in Spanish that you can just consume. We have people from different places in the industry. And our goal is to provide information and tools for the community to become financially free, regardless if it's in Spanish or in English. God bless you all. And we'll be back on Monday with another episode, in this case in Spanish, and how to become rich, how to become financially free, and obviously rich if you want to do it. And in the United States, invest in real estate. God bless you all. Bye.